today about data maturity. What is data maturity and why is it important to your organization? So all of the organizations you're in typically have ambitions, right? You have ambitions to create data products, to create dashboards, APIs, features. Sometimes it's even very vague, like grow revenue. These are also ambitions, of course. But most of the time that translates into data ambitions. It always ends up at the data side. So we typically see some challenges with that. And the challenges that we see are often that these products that we envision don't materialize. For example, this is a number from Gartner, 85% of the AI projects fail in 2020. That means there's quite a lot of room for improvement. But how do we deal with that? This is even just AI projects. There's many more of these things. Is there a way that we can bring this number down? And we believe that works with scalable and sustainable data products. Whenever we deliver something, you've seen a lot of things today, a lot of best practices. Well, how does it actually end up as a data product? How can we combine all of these best practices to deliver something that's scalable and sustainable? Plus, what do these vague terms actually mean in practice? Well, if you look at this pyramid, what we can see here is whenever we build a data product, we need quite a lot of layers. We need the infrastructure part, we need the operations part, the data pipelines, until we end up at the data product. But before we reach there, this is the effort that we typically spend on all of these layers. That's quite a lot of effort. But that also means if we build a second data product, we have to redo all of these things again. So what we've also seen before, I've seen it in several slide decks, is that we build a data platform. And on top of that, we build a data product. So we combine all of the effort so that we don't have to redo it every time again and again. But in these data platforms, it also lies a challenge. If we look at the left side, we see what some companies tend to do. They build a data platform supported by many people. And if there's something that came up in every presentation that we saw, it's people. People are difficult to find. It's difficult to get the right skill set. But still, we try to scale. Whenever we build a new data product, we try to scale with, let's create a new team, or let's bring those people together and reshift the focus of those teams. This is very challenging. This is scalable, but it's not sustainable. We cannot keep adding these people. So what do we recommend is the right side. So instead of shift to the left, this one has the shift to the right approach, where whenever we build a data product, we actually want to have the data platform supporting all of these products automatically, making sure we have a scalable setup. We have a fixed team, or at least a small team, with a specific focus on building a product that is sustainable. Also, they typically follow a process that is the right one to deliver such a product with high quality. So that's what we mean with scalability and sustainability. But where are you in this image? Are you on the left? Are you on the right? So you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of your own capabilities. So how do you measure such a thing? So what we have done in DataMind is we've looked at all the clients we've ever had, checked with all the engineers we have. So that's a huge combined experience. And we've come up with a huge list of things. And it boils down to these 6 dimensions: organization, product, technology, data, process, and people. So we have a full list of best practices. I'm not going over all of them. You can read up on our Data Maturity Index white paper, freely available on our website, or you can just fill in all of the checklists today in 15 minutes or 10 minutes and get your own score. How mature are you today? Using that number, you can actually compare yourself against other companies. So this is what we've done in 2022. We've launched that almost a year ago. And today I want to share with you our conclusions, our findings of all of these indexes that we have checked with clients and other people in the community. These are some examples of data maturity scans that we did. There's 4 organizations. The bold line indicates where they are today in terms of maturity. The thin line indicates the ambitions. And it's immediately obvious, it's like a fingerprint. All of the organizations are different. Every organization has their own fingerprint in terms of maturity and also their own ambitions. Remember, I said every company has quite some unique ambitions in the beginning. This should boil down to your data ambitions. You need to fine-tune all of these things into your, let's say in a year, your ambitions on data. We've also looked into specific things. These are some examples of statements that we have that you can check for your own company. And these are actually the high adoption ones. So for every one of these dimensions, we have selected the one that is adopted by the community. So this is a quick win. If you're not doing this today, well, you should, because almost all of the other organizations are doing that. So please, if you're missing one, implement it tomorrow, if possible. Let's quickly go over them. So for the product side, we see that reprocessing of data is important. We've heard that when you train a new machine learning model or something, you will have the ability, or you should have the ability to reuse the data that you already have. Or if you need to fix something, you need to be able to reuse that. The second thing, also in the light of some ransomware attacks recently, is that you need to give the keys of your data to the right person. If you give the keys to your data to the wrong person, yeah, it's already too late and you have to start a mitigation exercise. So you need to be really careful who to give access to at least sensitive data. Then in terms of processes, we see that code should be reviewed. You need to do knowledge sharing. People are difficult to find, so the more you can spread knowledge in your company, the better. In terms of technology and organization, let's focus on organization first. What we see there is typically to innovate, you need to enable exploration and experimentation. How can you do that? Well, you can enable cloud technologies. You can leverage that. It's very easy to quickly set up something and to then use that to allow people to quickly experiment. So these go a bit hand in hand. Finally, culture is really important. We've also heard that today a few times. The culture of continuous improvement. This is something that 49% of the organization is already doing today. So this is also key to developing the right data culture. We have another list here, the things that people don't do yet, things that organizations are struggling with. So to me, these are opportunities. If you can do any of these, you will just hop over all the other companies that are not doing this yet. So the first thing is a detailed disaster recovery plan. And at the same time, we also see continuous deployment multiple times a day. These leak in a bit from software engineering. In software engineering, we think it's really normal that we have SLAs, that we actually have high availability for all the components. But we cannot even succeed in getting a disaster recovery plan for data in place. So there, I think we should raise the bar and make sure we have the right things in place. The same thing for continuous deployment. In software engineering, this is normal. We can deploy very fast, very often. We want to have the same things, for example, for machine learning models, for data pipelines, so that you can fix things and be more agile. Then, we had a full talk by Gergely on data mesh. Companies are still struggling with that. Only 12% of the respondents indicated that they have successfully implemented data mesh. The question even remains for some company, what is data mesh? It's important to understand what is data mesh for your organization. But this is an opportunity, of course, to reshape your organization and implement the right things that work for you. Next, for technology, what we see there is infrastructure as code. Why is this important? If you want to industrialize things, industrialize pipelines, deploy them multiple times, you should have explicit ways of doing that. The knowledge should be somewhere in code so that you can repeat the process again and again. And then finally, we also saw that in many of the talks that ROI is important. We need to be able to measure the investment. I think, Bart, the question was also asked to you, like, what is the ROI? And you said sometimes it peaks and sometimes it goes down. You cannot share the actual information. But it is key to understand, like putting thousands of man-hours in a product, tens of engineers working years on a data product. What is the actual yield of this? What is the actual investment and what is the return on that? So once you can estimate that better and once you understand that it's not just code of a notebook that you're deploying, but you're deploying a full application, it becomes more clear in what investment that would take. And it will help you prioritize your data project accordingly. So if we zoom out a bit on each of these individual statements, we define 4 levels of data maturity: awareness, exploration, acceleration, and lead. And if we even zoom in on the first level, let's see how many organizations reach the bar on the first level. Currently, we see that 31% on technology has completely covered that level. But this graph learns us a lot more. Again, I said before, for the people part, we've seen that come up again and again and again. This is a challenge. For me, this conclusion here is technology is not a challenge. We have all of this technology available, but when we fail, it's probably not because of the technology. It's most likely due to some of the more softer things, like process, product, people. These are things that we should definitely not ignore when working on data maturity. To give a final number on the levels of data maturity, this is the average one. From all the respondents, we have 34% average data maturity. Is it bad? Is it good? I don't know. And it also depends. It depends on your ambitions. It depends on what you want. So this number, to me, it doesn't really mean anything. You should always look at that from your own perspective. So what is the takeaway from my side for data maturity? You should always, as I said, start from your own ambitions. What do you want to reach as a company? What is your starting point and where is your value? That you should translate to the goals. You should understand your current maturity. That was also said by Maarten, I think. We need to understand where we are today and set the ambitions accordingly, not in 10 years, but also over a year, next quarter, and take small steps towards that goal. We should also avoid the complexity. We don't need to have really complex processes or things in place. We should take small steps to achieve that. And while doing that, we should know that technology is most likely not the issue. Technology is there to help us, but the real focus should be on the full holistic view. And especially people should get the attention. If you want to try this out or learn more, we have a full section of our website covered to data maturity. And if you are even more interested, come talk to me after the session. We also do data strategy studies these days so that we can actually go together with you. The data maturity is part of that, but we have a 4-step plan on making your company more mature. All right, thank you. I'm going to give the word to Oliver on the Academy updates. Thank you.